Hi, this is Henry Chamberlain, and welcome to our April vlog. So last week I'm in Philadelphia working with the Emerging Professionals group, and we got our first question about robots. And the question was, how are they going to impact jobs? And that's an interesting question. I mean, Allied Universal is now coming out with robots that are going to be moving around buildings. They can look at license plates and all the rest and do the analysis. You won't need that person. On a different tack, you've got drones now doing inspections where people used to climb scaffolding to do all that. So the job front's going to change. So we are going to be figuring that out. And of course, what's the value add? What are the new jobs that will be created that's going to require the talents and the expertise of the management teams, the engineering folks going forward so that we can create absolutely more value on all of those things. There's a great book out. There are a lot of books out on technology and what's coming down the pike. But The Industries of the Future by Alec Ross, New York Times bestseller. There are a lot of people now speculating on where are those kinds of jobs going. But when you get down to it, it really is that value add. What can we do better than others are doing? But the technology piece is important. Of course, BOMA is a great learning laboratory in terms of how that's going to work. And that gets into the issue of time, because now people are being stretched to do more things. You all are, you know that, in whatever job you're doing. If you're a local board, whether it's Philadelphia, Fort Worth, Seattle, all the rest, people have less time to be involved. And there's a 10-10-80 rule that associations like to talk about. 10% of members are going to be active. They're going to be on your committees, your executive committee. They're going to be the worker bees. 10% are going to help you on projects, community service, putting on events, and all the rest. The other 80%, to a large degree, are mailboxers. They're looking for you to feed them things. They'll come to events of interest. They'll read material of interest. But time is something that we've all got to value in some big ways. And it's something that associations do well. But as BOMA, we really need to concentrate on what's important, whether it's the advocacy piece, the education and training piece, the technology piece now, the kinds of tools, the business case we're making for BOMA on the asset management side, leveraging up EER. It's the EER time of year. We're going to have those numbers. You can benchmark performance. BOMA 360, the floor standards, our victories, and advocacy and codes. But tell that story in indelible ways so people know that BOMA means business. And when we go to the C-suite, they love that business argument, and they leverage that up, and they get their folks involved in those programs. We see attendance and participation up this year. Well, guess what? They're pushing people in our direction because of what you're doing locally, what we're doing on the national level. It's a great story. And in that, embedded in that, are things like repurposing existing buildings. Had an interesting discussion in Philadelphia about repurposing office into same-day or next-day delivery sites. Well, that's kind of interesting because we've been repurposing into hotels and residential, but we're going to be looking at repurposing that existing building stock. Of course, those are the kinds of conversations we like to have. And then the talent piece, developing talent, developing careers in real estate. Not only the millennials, but people are starting to think about Generation Z coming in behind. And an operational issue that's come up are tenant audits, because around the country people are looking at their space, coming back to the owner and want to audit that space. And we have our escalation handbook, we've got our functional accounting guide, but there's a value add for high performance teams, which is a story we need to intermingle with the audit, the legal aspects of that are important for business, and something that we can do to help people relay that value add messaging. All of the things I just mentioned are going to be on display under the Big Tent. That's the annual conference in Nashville, June 24 to 27 this year. I encourage you to go. We're going to have tracks covering all of this. We've got the largest crowd coming together potentially in over 10 years because people are resonating with our messaging, the business case we're making, and all the rest. I hope you'll join us and learn and be a part of a thriving community that is BOMA. Thanks.